I'm Brian Fowler, president of Blind Creek Resources Limited, listed on the TSX Venture Exchange, ticker symbol BCK. Blind Creek is focused in the Yukon, Northwest Territories, and British Columbia. The company's key property is the Blend Project, one of the largest undeveloped lead-zinc-silver deposits in Western Canada, plus plans to advance the recently acquired, fully permitted historic Engineer Gold Mine in the Atlan District of Northwestern BC. Check us out at blindcreekresources.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Mish Shedlock, editor of Mish's Global Economic Trend Analysis on maven.net/MishTalk. Welcome back to the show, Mish.
Pleasure to be back on.
Very interesting thought posted on your website. What will sink the stock market? Trump or tariffs or both?
Yeah, I'm quite certain I have this right. Now, whatever it is, people will look back and try and attach some event to the decline, possibly Trump, possibly tariffs, possibly war. Who knows what's going to break out here in Iran or North Korea. But actually what's really happening here is the pool of greater fools is simply going to run out at some point. And typically it exhausts itself at a time when something happens and people say, aha, look at that, that's what did it. But if we look back at November of 2007, 1 month before the recession hit, what was the catalyst? There was no catalyst. All of a sudden, stocks started declining. The economy went into recession. What happened back then was the pool of greater fools willing to buy houses simply ran out. It exhausted itself. Now, one reader pointed out and said, well, you know, Bear Stearns and some of these other companies started having problems. Well, yeah, they started having problems because the pool of greater fools ran out. And that was the real trigger. So it's really a sentiment change. That's what it's all about. And I got a nice email from Pater Tenebrarum at the Acting Man blog in response to my post, and he says, you have this exactly correct. You know, that it is a sentiment issue. It's not going to be anything else.
Has Russia been meddling in U.S. affairs, or is it somebody else?
Oh, everyone's meddling in everyone else's affairs. We do it all the time. The U.S. is one of the worst offenders. Israel and the U.S. are probably among the worst offenders there are. So, you know, everyone is got this big witch hunt against Russia. I don't know whether they did anything or not. And over in the U.K., there's, you know, Prime Minister Theresa May, as a result of, you know, someone getting killed over there with some bioweapon or something, everyone's pointing the finger at Putin. Now, before they even know that Russia was even involved, you know, they're talking about sanctions on Russia. This is idiotic. Shouldn't there be proof? You know, even if someone from Russia was responsible, does that mean that Putin did it? It would kind of be like, I don't know, blaming Canada if, blaming blaming Theresa May, if someone from the UK shot, you know, someone in the United States with a gun. That's exactly what it would be like. I was struggling for an example there. But leaders aren't responsible for the acts of everyone who lives in that country. But this is the way everything is framed right now. It's blame Russia, blame Russia, blame Russia. We just had a collapse of a bridge here in the United States that killed some people today, and I sarcastically wrote in a tweet, clearly Putin is behind this. That is where everything starts and stops. People want to point that finger at Russia.
What do you think of the credentials of President Trump's new economic advisor?
Oh, they're near perfect. He is absolutely perfect for the job. It is very unlikely, very rare actually, actually, for anyone to be always right, or no one's always right or always wrong, but it's extremely rare for someone to be nearly always right or nearly always wrong. And Kudlow, who was tapped as Trump's president's top economic advisor, is nearly always wrong. In fact, I went through 11 major predictions that this person made, and 10 of them are wrong. And I commented, he's actually perfect for the job. Why? Because of the 10 out of the 11, it was exactly, his message was exactly what the stock market wanted to hear. And of more importance, of the 4 things he said about Trump, all of them Trump would approve of. I mean, that's perfection for you. And today he came out with a message, or actually a couple of days ago, but it was put in the media today, that he just wants the Fed to let the economy rip, forget about inflation, and just let it go. And I said, man, this is exactly perfect. He also said in the same interview that he warned the Fed against tightening too much. Wow, look at that. Trump already has an excuse laid out. When the next recession hits, they're going to blame rate hikes from the Fed on it. Perfect. Now, he's wrong about all of this, of course, but this is exactly what Trump wants to hear. He wants someone to rah-rah his message, and he is looking for an excuse when anything goes wrong. And Kudlow came out today and provided precisely that response. So, and one final point in Kudlow's favor is he is camera proven. The Boston Globe came out yesterday and used exactly that term, and it said Kudlow is camera proven. And here we are. So we've got a camera proven person ready to say anything that Trump wants to hear. What can possibly be better, Jim? What can be better than that?
Maybe all Trump respects are people who've been on TV.
Well, Trump respects people who believe in his message. That's it. He doesn't respect anyone else. This man is perfect for the job. Now, the weird aspect of all of this was that Kudlow is against tariffs. So, and I commented on that yesterday, and I said he's perfect except for this one thing. But then I also added he's likely going to change his mind. In fact, I believe he already has. I believe it was a precondition to him getting this job was to hop on board Trump's tariffs policy and say, yeah, well, tariffs are a pretty good idea after all.
We'll have more with Mike Shedlock right after the break.
Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp., RMO, on the TSX Venture Exchange. Rainy Mountain's Brunswick property is located in the Rideout Shear Zone in Ontario, with grab samples running as high as 32 grams per ton gold. A follow-up drill program to test numerous targets located by recent groundwork is planned for early 2018. Please visit our website at rmroyalty.com.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the pink symbol ABN-AF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mike Shedlock. Mish, you mentioned that synchronized global growth appears to be ending. Why is that going to happen?
Well, just look at everything happening here. We have for the first time in a decade, we've got global quantitative tightening as opposed to global quantitative easing. Now, we'll see how far we get with that. I think not very far before they reverse course. But we've got the Fed hiking. We've got the Fed selling assets. We've got the ECB threatening to, not threatening, they said they're going to end their asset purchases. We've got the Bank of England talking about tightening. They never got into this QE kind of mess. So Japan is the only country here that's really not on the same page here. So, but everyone else, all these other countries are doing something here for the first time, and it's happening exactly when we're seeing already signs of sputtering growth. Retail trade in the United States fell for 3 months in a row. That's retail sales. That's pretty rare. That doesn't happen very often. It's a payback for all the hurricane-related spending we had in the fourth quarter. Guess what? All that hurricane spending in the fourth quarter barely got GDP above 2%, 2.5%, I think is what it was. We're looking at projections now for GDP to come in around 1.9%, under 2%. And if you look at bottom line sales, which is the real economic performance, the rest is just inventories, we're looking at 1.2% now. That's the latest projection from the Atlanta Fed. We have some key numbers coming out on Friday. They can change dramatically in either direction, or perhaps not at all. I don't know, but those reports on Friday are going to set the tone here, the final tone for what GDP in the first quarter is going to look like. If we get bad reports on Friday, we will be looking at something like a real bottom line figure of under 1%, perhaps even negative. I don't think the numbers are going to be that bad. If the numbers are good, we're going to see these estimates go up, but Friday's going to be the tell.
We'll have more with Mike Shedlock right after this.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications, patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mike Shedlock. Mish, who is going to win, the U.S. versus the world in trade wars?
There's no winners. That's easy. No one wins trade wars. Now, Trump says he's going to win a trade war, and I was reading some analysis here actually last night. A couple of people were claiming that Trump is going to win them because the ECB is going to back down, blah, 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 blah. It's all craziness. You don't voluntarily raise prices on yourself. That's what tariffs do, and win anything. It's impossible to win anything by that. All this talk of fair trade and nonsense like that, the only fair trade is free trade. And whether or not any other country cooperates with that same model, that is the right thing to do. Otherwise, this is what you're doing, Jim. And we hear these claims, well, they're subsidizing steel. So what? So what if they are? If they're willing to give steel to the U.S. for free, or solar panels to the U.S. for free, or anything else underpriced, not necessarily just free, we'd be fools not to take it. Why? Because it improves our standards of living. standards of living rise when goods are cheaper, they're more affordable, more people can get them. Any jobs that we lose in industries where someone is allegedly dumping come back in other industries. That's the simple math of it. If China gave us solar panels for free, what would happen to them? We would put them on more roofs. We would have people installing them. So to protect a couple of thousand solar panel jobs, we shut out vast industries that distribute and install those solar panels. Is that a good trade? No. It's a very terrible trade-off. So, anyone that's arguing that tariffs are a good idea is arguing that higher prices is a good idea. It's crazy. It's mathematically crazy.
How can the U.S. afford Trump's infrastructure plan if steel is going to cost 25% more because of his tariffs?
Well, that's actually a very good question. We can't already. The other thing we need to do is get rid of labor laws. We need to have free market in labor. That means we need to get rid of all these prevailing wage laws. We need right-to-work laws. I'm not seeing a push from Trump on those issues, but I expect he's going to get that part right. There's some interesting cases. The U.S. Supreme Court is looking at a very critical union case as to whether or not people have to be forced to pay union dues. I think the Supreme Court is going to get this one right. I think had Hillary won, the Supreme Court would have gotten this one wrong. So Trump is not doing everything wrong or everything right. But the way things are with U.S. politics, and probably the politics in Canada and every other country too, is that, people either like the leader or they don't. They don't look at the policies. It's important to look at the policies on a case-by-case basis and say, I like this or I don't like that. Instead, what happens here is people don't like Trump, so they don't like anything he does, or they don't like Hillary, so they don't like anything Hillary does. I'm struggling here to find something that I actually like about Hillary, but, that is the way politics work here in the U.S.
It works that way everywhere, Mish.
Yes, people ought to be looking at policies here. I'm willing to come out and say, I agree with Trump on this, disagree with Trump on that. That's the way it needs to work. Unfortunately, that's not the way it's working, and we are in a mess, and Trump's tariff policies are without a doubt wrong.
Mish, thank you so much for being on the show.
Pleasure to be on, Jim.
My guest has been Mike Mish Shedlock, editor of Mish's Global Economic Trend Analysis on maven.net/MishTalk. You're listening to HowStreet.com radio. Find us on Twitter at HowStreet. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Questions for the show or our guests can be sent to info@HowStreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.